Hello and a warm welcome to Federal Special Program Capital Beat. Amid growing public confusion over the use of passports as proof of citizenship and eligibility for government benefits, the Ministry of External Affairs has clarified that an Indian passport is strictly a travel document and should not be treated as a conclusive proof of citizenship. The clarification came during a detailed briefing on India's rapidly expanding passport and mobility ecosystem, which highlighted major reforms aimed at making passports more accessible, secure, and globally accepted while facilitating overseas employment and international travel for millions of Indians. Now, the officials stressed that while passports are issued to Indian citizens, the document's primary purpose is to enable the international travel and establish identity abroad. Questions have been raised earlier about other documents as proof of citizenship, including Aadhaar and voter ID cards. Now, since the time this announcement by the MEA has been made since last evening, there is a huge outrage on the social media. I want to show you some tweets which will give you an indication as to what are the people saying. Kapil Sibal, renowned lawyer and politician, what does he say? MEA June 24th, 2026, a passport is a travel document and not a document of citizenship. Which document then is the proof of citizenship? BLO can doubt my citizenship, deprive me of my vote. Result, BJP wins the elections. Over to Supreme Court. So very in no clear terms has he expressed the doubt what he has in mind. Supriya Shrinet, who's the Congress leader, she said, Modi government has said that passport is not a proof of citizenship. Isn't passport a document issued by a sovereign nation to its citizens for international travel? Does this mean non-Indian citizens have been issued an Indian passport? What do government agencies involving the police verify before issuing a passport? What about foreign countries and immigration desks? Should they now believe a person with an Indian passport is not necessarily an Indian? Similarly, we have some more tweets. Look at what Sakit Gokhale has written, the TMC MP. Quick test, can you prove you're an Indian citizen? Go through your documents, passport no, Aadhaar no, PAN no, voter ID no, driving license no, bank passbook no, domicile certificate no, government employee ID no, property papers no, birth certificate no, unless you were born before July 1st, 1987. Not a single document that you have is proof of your Indian citizenship. So if the government asks you to prove you're a citizen, you can't. Now connect the dots. So he's joined the dots and look at now what he's writing. Modi Shah and their poodle Ganesh Kumar at ECI are conducting the SIR across India. When you are asked to prove your citizenship, what document will you show? You just saw the list, none of them work. You will then be deleted as a voter and your citizenship will be doubtful. What's the next step? That will be the NRC, that is a National Register of Citizens. In Assam, NRC, 19 lakh people were let off the list of citizens. Many were declared foreigners over a misspelt name or a missing date. Across states, BJP is building detention centers. Are these for infiltrators? No. Now, the next page of this tweet, because it's a longish tweet, these mass detention centers are being built to keep people who cannot prove that they are Indian citizens. So if you are convinced that you are an Indian citizen, think again. When the government asks you to prove you're Indian, remember who's actually deciding your citizenship. Modi, Shah, and their handpicked election commission. This is the biggest danger facing our country. To cling on to power by manipulating elections, Modi, Shah will even delete you as a voter and then strip off your citizenship. Why do you think the BJP is spending hundreds of crores right now to buy MPs from other parties? All of this is for a two-thirds majority in parliament, which would allow them to change the constitution. And once they are able to change the constitution, it's game over for Indian democracy. Question is, will you stand up and raise your voice against this, or will you be mute spectators while they destroy your rights in front of your eyes? Now, what the government officials say that we've never said that the passport was a document which proves citizenship. Now, the big question which everyone in the country now is asking, what is the document which proves your citizenship? if the government officials, if the election commission is asking for that document which proves your citizenship, even stripping you of the citizenship, then what is the document that one produces? That's a $1 million question. And we'll be discussing that. Is this outrage due to this passport controversy? Is it fair? Is it justified? Does it have merit? Joining me this evening is Aruneshwar Gupta, who's a senior lawyer at the Supreme Court. Thank you so much, Mr. Gupta, for joining. We have Tara Rao, who's an activist. She's worked on the SIR and other election-related issues. Thank you so much, Tara, for joining. We have Ayushman Pandey, lawyer and activist. Thank you so much, Ayushman, for joining. And let me begin with Tara, because I want to understand the reservations behind this proclamation done by the MEA. Tara, you've been working on the ground in Karnataka and so many other places. What is your feeling? Where is this statement by the MEA coming from? If MEA is saying that passport is just a travel document, what are the dangers you see? Yes, Tara, unmute yourself. Tara, I can't hear you. I think will you reconnect your audio? I can't hear you. I can't hear you, Tara.
She is muted. She has to unmute herself.
No. She's not muted, but I think there's a problem with her connection. Tara, will you try and reconnect? Okay, so let me begin with Aruneshwar Gupta. Let me see if no, Tara, I can't hear you. I can't hear you. Just try and reconnect. Let me go to Mr. Gupta. Mr. Gupta, now, is there a merit in this outrage which is bursting over this passport controversy? Now, the big question, and let's talk about it candidly. What is that document which proves your citizenship, if not a passport or if not Aadhaar?
Okay. Thank you. Good evening, listeners, and thanks, Nilu. This is very interesting. The entire outrage that you see is political. So there are two totally different issues. One is legal and one is political. So the outrage which is coming up on the social media, like Kapil Sibal and all those coming to the opposite party, are basically coming for politics, and the fact which from the tweets is very clear that because BJP is looking for a 2/3 majority, therefore all these instruments are being, or the MEA has come out with this with this clarification. Now, if you go back to the legality of it, since I am a lawyer, I can tell you what legally it is. So legally, we have got a Citizenship Act of 1955, now which gives you five ways by which you can hold a citizenship. Now, let us, at the very beginning, let me be very clear. There's nothing like a citizenship certificate. And maybe the government ultimately comes out with a citizenship certificate. And I think maybe that is the right way.
No, so you do admit that there is that vacuum where we do not have a document which proves our citizenship.
Certainly.
So
there is no single document to say that you have which is called a citizenship certificate. But the citizenship which is acquired by 5 ways. There are 5 ways of acquiring a certificate, acquiring a citizenship, which is under the 1955 Act. That is by birth. So if you are born in India, then you are a citizen of India. Because there are large number of people, maybe about 70% of the population who will not hold the passport. So merely by saying that passport makes you a citizen, it doesn't make any sense at all. Because most of the people in the country, they don't own the passport, but they are born in India. So you have to have a birth certificate. So that is one way of doing it. The second was the descent. So if one of your parents, if you are born outside India, but if one of the parents is Indian, then you are entitled to be a citizen. And then by registration of PIOs, people who are born outside India, but they are PIO, but they can be registered as citizens of India. The next is the neutralization, because large number of foreigners who come and live here and they know Indian languages, so they become citizens. And finally, if suppose a territory is acquired in which there are a large number of people, so they become citizens. Now, really the issue comes in when you have to prove your citizenship. Otherwise, you see, the problem is not there. So long as everybody who is living in India is living in India, and everybody is not being confronted by that issue, that whether you are citizens or not. The real issue has really come up
but what
because
happened recently, Mr. Gupta, in recent elections in Bihar, in so many states where they are asking for the citizenship of the voter. If they don't have documents, their voting rights, their citizenship is stripped off.
no, they have to show that they have a right of, they have a citizenship by virtue of their birth or by virtue of their descent. So somebody will have to decide that issue. It is not that they don't want, because one of the major rights, if you go to the Constitution of India, there are certain fundamental rights which are available to all the persons, but there are certain fundamental rights which are only available to the citizens of this country. So there is a marked distinction between being a person living in India and being a citizen of the country. Like Article 14, 20, 21, 21A, 22, 23 to 28 are all available to all the persons who come to India.
Sir, this is such a technical issue. How many people, if you look at it from the common man's perspective, how will a common man understand? Is it not so much of complication? No. Let's be honest. Let's be honest.
The common man.
No, at the end of the day, a voter will have to produce so many documents. The government not unnecessarily complicating the issue rather than making it so simple?
No, the issues are already there. The law is already there. The issue is whether you fall within the parameters of the law or you don't fall you fall outside the parameters of the law. So it's very clear. If you're born in the country, you're a citizen.
Just allow me to interrupt you, sir. So are you saying that people have assumed wrongly on their own that the passport is a document which proves your citizenship?
Yes. Because passport is only a travel document. Because everybody doesn't own the passport. Coming back to the question again, I'm repeating.
No, but why is the police verifying? Look at the manner in which the police verifies and all of that. If it isn't
because the Passport Act very clearly says if you want to go out of this country, then you must have a passport. The limited purpose of a passport is when you want to go out of the country. Otherwise, you don't need a passport. You see, if you want to continue to live in India, you don't want to go to any foreign country, you don't need a passport at all. Why do you need a passport? So the passport is, and the visa, because the passport has a visa which has been given by the other country. So they will not allow you to enter their country unless you own a document. So therefore, the purpose of a passport is very, very limited if you want to go outside the country.
Okay, so that is a technical explanation. You've given a technical explanation which not many people will understand. Of course, there are certain tenets which exist on paper, but you said that the outrage is political. Let me come to Tara now. I hope your audio is working, Tara. Unmute yourself. And yes, no, I can't hear you. Can you just try and reconnect? I think you have AirPods and all. Just try and reconnect, please. I'll come to Ayushman. Ayushman, what Mr. Gupta is saying, that this outrage is political and it doesn't have technical merits. What would you say?
Well, outrage is political. There is no doubt about it. It's the politics of the present regime which has created this question. It is this present regime which has questioned every form of documentation that an Indian carries. You see, more than 20 years ago, I got my first passport made. In fact, nearly more than 25 years ago. So usually verification is done by the local police station. So there's this, usually the CID, the CIA department, criminal investigation department, and an officer comes from that department to check your documentation and verify your documentation. So a very interesting question at that time was raised by this police officer who had come. He said, there is no proof of your citizenship, and on the basis of the various papers that you submit, a passport is issued which shows your citizenship. So I agree with Mr. Gupta, my senior colleague actually, that passport is only required for travel. Unless you are traveling abroad, what is the need of the passport? So you apply for passport and get it only when you are traveling abroad.
But
I would say, no, Nilu, let me. I would say there are other cases when passports are obtained by individuals, and some of these situations are where they are trying to show their citizenship. I can tell you, see, when you go, in fact, Mr. Gupta also mentioned about rights under the Constitution, fundamental rights being available to the citizens. So when you go to the court, under Section 9, let's say under Article 19, are you required to show your citizenship? Do they say, do you just make a statement that I'm the citizen of India and therefore I'm applying under this article? You are not required to. I would rather start from somewhere. Mr. Gupta has again referred to the Passport Act. I would go to the Passport Act. In fact, for your purpose, because you had mentioned that this was the topic, I opened the Passport Act. Objects and reasons we can read. An act to provide the issue of passports and travel documents to regulate the departure from India of citizens of India and other person for matters incidental and ancillary. So, in fact, thereafter, there is a section, um, I think section 5. Yeah, section 5. So, section 5 elaborates that the passport is issued to the citizen and travel documents are issued to other persons under the Act. So basically, what the government of India is saying, that passport is not a proof of citizenship, is wrong, because you only issue passports to citizens of India. And why the requirement started is very interesting. It was the Treaty of Versailles in 1920 when the boundaries were drawn, and it needed to be shown which country you are coming from. There was Nankin passport, which was for refugees, but aside that, the countries were to issue passports. It was later on they regulated the issuance of passports, but basically boundaries were denoted, and the passport as a document came to be accepted as a proof of citizenship across the world. If I go abroad, all right, forget about India. If I go abroad, I can prove my citizenship by what document? Am I going to show the Aadhaar? Nobody is going to know what the Aadhaar is. Am I going to show my matriculation certificate or my birth certificate? Birth certificate, they would say, we don't know what this municipality is. What is the document that I'm going to show to highlight to prove my citizenship? It's only the passport. Yes, it is a travel document, but it is a travel document of citizens. That's the point. You see, why this argument has begun is because they are see. First of all, we have to understand the intention. See, this government has lost the confidence of people. So now it is trying to do everything to ensure that they remain in power. And how they are going to do it is by choosing
So you are
citizens.
saying, just allow me to interrupt you. Are you saying that the government is trying to disempower the people by changing the definition all of a sudden, which in all these years, the previous government, just please hear me out. The previous governments allowed this definition to continue. Technicality, yes, the technical details, what Mr. Gupta is pointing out, that is there. But the general assumption amongst the people was that the passport also is a proof of your Indian citizenship. And this all of a sudden is being changed by the government. So you see this as a disempowering move by for the citizens, Ayushman?
Yes, absolutely. This is a move to disempower citizens. This is a move to disempower citizens and create subjects.
Okay, so you're saying that it disempowers the citizens and creates subjects. Yes.
Yes. So that's the whole point. Like I mentioned, how did I get my first passport made? By showing a ration card. It had no photograph and it was in the name of my father. It only referred to me in the ration card. So now it's they have their last sentence, they have put the entire logic on its head. And they are asking you, see, it's like the trial. When you go to the trial, the person making the allegation has to prove the allegation. Like every other thing they are doing, they are asking you to prove their allegation or disprove their allegation rather. So that's where I will.
All right. Now, since we are talking about the passport, let's talk about certain data, which is very, very crucial. And I will then ask Tara. I hope, Tara, you can hear me. Just say something so that
can you hear me?
Yes, thank God, you're audible now. Okay, now let me just put out some data for the viewers. Now, 9.7 crore, that is 97 million Indians currently hold an active passport. I'm just throwing these figures because this is the reality when we are talking about the passport. 97 million Indians hold an active passport. Now, this figure accounts for roughly 7.2% of the country's total population, with regional distribution heavily skewed towards states like Kerala, Maharashtra, Goa, and Punjab. In fact, if you look at the highest penetration of the passports, Kerala leads with nearly 35% of its population holding passports, followed by Goa and Punjab. Uh, and of course, the international ranking and the global mobility. As of 2026, the Indian passport ranks 78th on the Henley Passport Index. Now, this is the reality of the Indian passport. Coming to you, Tara, and since we are talking about the passport and what Ayushman said, that this disempowers the citizens. And since the figures which we just read out, that the highest penetration are in states like Punjab, in Goa. Now, these are states which are going for elections. I was speaking to a few democracy rights activists in the morning, and they said that this has a link with the SIR. This has a link with the cancellation of the voting rights. Say, for example, in states like Punjab, which are going to polls, Goa goes to polls next year. So, do you see a connect somewhere of this passport controversy? Is it a methodology or is it a mechanism to cut the votes of the people?
Yeah, thanks, Neelu. And hello to the rest of the panelists. So I think, I mean, the fact that today, let's just start where we need to start, which is that we are getting into the third phase of the SIR. At this point, there are 6 crore living voters who have been excluded. Yeah. We even have instances of 27 lakh who should have voted, but who were denied voting. Yeah. Now, if you look at the passport, and I really want, if you will allow me a minute or so, that,
yes,
this is creating conditions of convenience to meet their own needs, their own ends. You are creating, you are strangling democracy as you proceed further. If you remember, you did not have logical discrepancy, which in itself is a hilarious term, the way it's put together. You did not have it in Bihar, right? But you got it in West Bengal. We don't know what's coming to us in Karnataka, by the way. Who knows? We are the next West Bengal because they're so desperate to get Karnataka and Telangana. So one can talk about this very technically. What is a passport? And even there, I don't agree, because the kind of checks that happen to get a passport, you cannot get a passport if you're not going to be going through police clearance, this, that, and the other to prove, and your parents and this. So, the fact that it's a proxy document for citizenship, when you come to actually even proving your right to vote, which in itself is ridiculous because citizenship and voting have nothing to do with each other except for this regime. So they are creating these, and they're strangling democracy, really. Now, even in the first page of the passport, you look at not first page, the third page, you look at the categories. There is citizenship, Indian. So what are we talking about? It doesn't, and the fact that the 1967 Passports Act, basically the distribution of passports is provided to issue passports to citizens of India. The Passports Act says that clearly. So what is the problem here? This is just, and by the way, PIOs are not allowed to vote. So whether your parent has an Indian origin and you have a PIO, you will not be allowed to vote.
According to you, Tara, what does this announcement by the MEA does? Does it mislead people?
I'm just getting to that.
Yes.
So the thing is, we have started with a basis. The context here is whether this is constitutional or unconstitutional. The whole exercise has been unconstitutional to start with from the word go, because the voter list is reconstructed on a blank slate.
I want you to connect it with the passport. But if passport is not a proof of citizenship, what does it mean to the voting rights? Yes.
Absolutely. So when you're saying it's a blank slate, I will decide whether you are on the voter list or not. And then you put all these documents on it and say, these are the ones you have to produce. And then you start saying, no, but you can't bring this, that, and the other. then you are restricting my right to even prove in your framework, which is anyway, one that is just simply is unconstitutional. First of all, it's not even been passed by the parliament, and there is no legal basis. There is no documentation as to how the SIR came into being, that this has come as an arbitrary ad hoc mechanism in which you are further constricting us applying, because you're saying, okay, now, sorry, even if you come with your passport, you will not be accepted. So if I don't have my school leaving certificate, if I don't have all those 11 certificates, whatever documents they want, and my passport is not something that is acceptable, what do I have? So there is not only a voter list that is a blank slate, it is also the documents that you can produce, that's also blank for me, because I have nothing to produce. So in terms of setting this up, the BJP, the governing regime, wants to restrict the growing numbers of voters who oppose them. And there is little doubt, I will say there is no doubt in that. Even the 2024 elections gave them that indication, with 79 seats that were rigged, minimum. So we have an illegitimate government. We have a process which is illegitimate in itself. It continues to make itself even more and more illegitimate as it moves along. Now we are in the third and final phase of it. And therefore, they think if they win elections, they win the democracy. This is their equation. But the point of the matter is, are we going to stand by and watch that? That is a test for us.
Right. Thanks. All right. Now, let me take the concluding comments. Mr. Gupta, you've heard Ayushman, you've heard Tara. What would you like to respond towards the end? Very briefly, and then I'll take the comments from Ayushman and Tara as well. Yes, sir. Mr. Gupta.
Okay. I thank you. Let me make it very clear, and I agree with Ayushman and Tara on one issue, that the passport has to be given to only citizens of India. Now, let us also link it with Article 326 of the Constitution of India, which gives you a right to vote, which is given to again to the citizens of India. Right? So citizens of the passport is, now there's another concept which is called a rebuttable presumption or irrebuttable presumption. Now, when you are holding a passport, there is a rebuttable presumption that you are a citizen of India, which can be rebutted or which can be disproved by other documents to show that you are not a citizen of India. So prima facie, the fact is that it is a travel document which is issued to the citizen of India, and by virtue of that document, the citizenship is verified. But there can be other evidences to show, which can be in some cases. You see, it's like, is it like the illegalities which happen? So somebody has to prove it. So somebody may come out with some documents to show, like, look, you may be having a passport, but then still you may not be a citizen of India because of reason A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So it is a rebuttable presumption. So that's my take on it.
No, but do you believe that now the time is ripe for the government to put out clearly a document which proves your citizenship, like what you said in the
issue of time,
citizenship certificate?
The
if you
issue
can
of
have
timing
a birth certificate, no, Mr. Gupta, if you can have a birth certificate, why not a citizenship certificate as well to dispel all the confusion?
That will come. I don't know whether you are aware that the development of law takes its own time, and when the particular law comes into force, or when it comes into act, like you see, the Passport Act came into 67. Now, before 67, nobody was holding a passport. And as Ayushman said that he made his passport 30 years back, I got it in 85 when I had to go to Singapore. Now, before that, I was still a citizen of India, but I never had a passport.
I'm ready to give that benefit of doubt to the government without attributing any ill-intentioned motives. But the point is that till the time the government doesn't come out with something very, very substantive, people will have their own interpretations. Like Tara is working on SIR. She will be talking about, the disempowering of the citizens. Like
that is always there. That is always there. You see, there's an act which came in 1967, which is the Illegality Activities Act. The point in 67, it came out of us blue. And then ultimately in 1971, where there was a war of Bangladesh. So, you don't know what are the things which are going behind the scene or which are going up.
All right.
So it always happens. So you can't
Right.
just point out that this is happening because a reason A, B, C, D, E, F, G.
All right. Now let me come to Tara. Tara, what would you say? I mean, is the government trying to mislead, or we should give that benefit of doubt to the government to at least now come out with, if they can come out with a birth certificate, why not a citizenship certificate? And then all these political questions which are coming up, they will die down.
Neelu, first I'd like to just say that we would be disrespecting those 6 crore people who have lost not only their voting rights, but their citizenship, if we were to say that, no, everything is fine. Because as we speak, there are people who are being struck off these ration card lists and so on. So I will not subscribe to a situation where I can give any benefit of the doubt when there are such high stakes. And not only that, a state, the government should be there for the benefit of the people. This government has never proven that, I'm sorry to say. And not only that, if you look at international law, which I think we love prescribing to, since our wonderful Prime Minister loves going abroad and showing his face and his hugs there, that international law basically says that the passport is a document for identity and citizenship. So you can tell us, the Ministry of External Affairs, how do you even begin to make this system even more complicated than you have already made it? Instead of making it inclusive, you are excluding, you are complicating, you are making it more and more ad hoc so that you can actually make people pay. You are not benefiting people, you are making people pay. And this is just not on. You will pay for this. You will pay for this because you make people pay.
Fair enough. Ayushman, coming to you for the concluding comments, what would you really say? And like you said in the beginning, that it disempowers the citizens, it makes them the subjects. But when you listen to people like Tara, it seems that, this move also in a way strips you of your voting rights as well. What about those passport holders now in Punjab, in Goa, where the penetration of the passport is quite high? And why would the people not assume that if there is going to be an SIR, people might just be deprived of their voting rights over there? Ayushman.
I think Mr. Gupta has, he has really given us the whole picture. He has mentioned Article 326. What does it actually do, the Constitution? As you are pointing out about people who carry passports in Punjab and Kerala, my question is really, what is it all about? It is about Article 326, the right to vote. That is the only functional right a citizen gets under the Constitution of India. Rest of everything under the Constitution come from that. Because I am a citizen, because I have a right to vote. Now the point is, the whole struggle here is, and how do you, the other thing he mentioned, that the passport as a document of citizenship. It is a questionable, it can be questioned, but there is a procedure. It is under the Representation of People's Act. Somebody can complain that this is not a citizen, and that citizenship can be taken away. But as long as it is taken away by due process of law, that's the word. That due process of law. I am a citizen. I hold a passport. What would have been my identity proof? It would have been my election card. But that's the first document that they shut down. Tara has been working on this for a long time. I met her last year in Bihar. She was working furiously on this issue. I think people who have been removed are in excess of 9 crores now. But we will see when the details start coming out. The point is the intention. This is an incompetent government. Their intention is not good. They have lost confidence of people. They are doing all that they are going to do. And Tara is absolutely right. I agree with her that they are going to suffer the fruits of their own deeds. How long the people are going to suffer, we don't know. But they are going to suffer the fruits of their own deeds. That's where I'll stop.
All right, so we'll have to end it here. Let's see what happens in Goa, in Punjab, where the penetration of the passport is really high. Then we'll come to know what is the connection really in the pronouncement which the government has made and what we would see on the ground, how it unfolds. Thank you so much, Mr. Gupta, Tara, Ayushman. Thank you very much for joining.
Thank you.